The JoLynn Braley Show, Episode 67, 3 Things to Say When Someone Calls You Fat. And welcome. This is JoLynn Braley, and this is the JoLynn Braley Show. Join me on today's show as we focus not so much on the food, because food and exercise are only 10% of your problem and 10% of the solution to your ideal body. But instead, we are going to look more at the 90% of your problem, which is your mindset. Yes, I'm sure that you already know this, because there are hundreds of thousands of healthy eating and exercise programs on this planet. You could go to the public library today and get a book about one of them. But why don't you do it? What exactly is it that stops you from doing what you already know how to do? Why do you continue to sabotage yourself? Why do you continue to beat yourself up in your head? Why do you continue to eat those foods that you know are packing on the pounds, and then you feel bad about yourself, but then you eat some more to try to feel better? Why do you do those things to yourself when you know that the answer is living a healthy lifestyle consistently, day after day, month after month, year after year, living healthy and fit? Just like those people who you see running down the street, going for 30 to 60 minute power walks every day, or picking the salad instead of the greasy burger. This doesn't mean that there's anything bad about what you're doing, or that you're a bad person, or that you're wrong, or anything like that. All it means is that the things that you're doing right now are giving you the results that you are living in your body and in your life. And if you want to get radically different results, if you want to finally have the body of your dreams, then you'll have to do something radically different. And the radically different thing to do is not going out and looking for another eating and exercise program. That is only 10% of the issue. The radically different thing to do is to address why you ever became overweight in the first place. The root of that problem, which I guarantee you started when you were a child. The root of that problem needs to be healed. And once it is, which is the work that I do with my awesome coaching clients in my exclusive 90-day coaching program. It's a mentoring system which involves real-time two-way communication. We go to the root of the problem, heal it, and then are able to move on and live a healthy lifestyle without it being a big struggle. That is the work that I do in my proprietary proven step-by-step system to permanent weight loss, the Inner Self Diet. That is an exclusive mentoring program. If that is something that you would love to do to end all of your food and weight struggles once and for all, and to be free of the pain, to be free of the ongoing stress, to be free of the worry, to be free of the fat, then your first step is to apply for a complimentary weight loss discovery session. It's the only way to find out if the Inner Self Diet is a good fit or not. And you can do that at fearlessfatloss.com/call. Now, on today's show, I'm going to cover 3 things that you can say when someone calls you fat. And if you have ever been called fat, it might have felt like a stab in the heart or a stab in the gut. Now, a good thing about being called fat is that it can really be a wake-up call for you. Maybe it's a gift. It's a gift from source energy. It's a gift from God. It's a gift from the universe to help you wake up. Because if you're not happy with the body you're living in, then clearly you need to do something different so that you can get what you want. And I'm here to tell you right now, to break the news to you. I know you're not going to like it. I already touched on it a few minutes ago, but there's no magic. There's no magic to getting the body that you want. It requires eating in a certain way, eating healthy, putting food in your mouth only when you're physically hungry, which rarely do people even eat like that, especially folks who are overweight. When is the last time that you put food in your mouth only for physical hunger? So it requires putting food in your mouth only when physically hungry, but also what kind of food you're putting in your mouth. For thousands of years, humans lived on whole foods. Whole foods. Not the things that you find on the grocery store shelves. If you'd like to learn more about that and also learn a way that I used to motivate myself several years ago, before I was a certified master NLP practitioner and certified professional coach, a way that I used to motivate myself to eat better was by educating myself. And I have an ebook that you can purchase and do the same thing that I did. Educate yourself, and after learning exactly what's in that food you've been eating, then just see what happens. See what happens and how motivated you are, how inspired you are to make changes simply by educating yourself. And you can get that at the website www.aboutthefood.com. So having somebody call you fat, it could be a wonderful wake-up call. Now, I'm also going to give you, though, 3 things that you can say when someone calls you fat. Okay? The purpose of this is to help you empower yourself, because you're certainly, first of all, you're not a victim. You're not a victim to your body or to food or to your life. You are the creator of everything in your life. You don't even realize how much power you have and how powerful you are to have created all of the results that you are living in your life, whether they are good or bad in the way that you see things. So when you can respond to a person who calls you fat and at least be in your own choice and be in your own power, then it just it can help you feel better. So let's say you're walking down the street and someone yells out, "You're fat." I don't know, it could happen, right? And before I go on, in case you didn't know this, I have been where you are right now. I know what it feels like to feel so frustrated with yourself, to feel so out of control, to wonder why you can't stop eating, especially since you are very smart and successful besides this weight problem. So I'm not one of those people who has always been thin and fit and is trying to teach you how to get a better body. I'm not one of those people. I've been where you are. I know exactly how it feels. And, okay, let's get back to the subject here. So you're walking down the street, somebody yells out, "You're fat." But let's imagine that they're closer to you than driving by in a car because you want to be able to say something back. So they're walking towards you and they say, "Hey, you're fat." One thing you could say is, "Thanks for sharing." And that's it. You see, when you fight with another person or you get into a battle with another person, they win. They win because of your attention and your focus and your energy that you're putting into that. But when you offer no resistance and you're not pushing against them, there's nothing else for them to say. If you were to say thanks for sharing, and now of course it's not just about the words, and this is where the inner self part comes in, and it is possible that these three suggestions I'm giving of things you can say when someone calls you fat, it's very possible that you might not feel comfortable doing this. You do need to have the inner self in order to be able to say these words and have it match. It's that same old saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. All right, so if you were to say thanks for sharing because you feel very insecure, you feel that they're right, you feel worthless, or you feel like you're not good enough, these words won't be of any help to you. And then then you really need to work on your inner self. And one of the laws of this universe is the fact that the inner and the outer always match. So if you have a weight problem on the outside, you've got a weight problem on the inside. And that weight problem is not about the food, and it's not about your fat. You use the food to create the fat on your body, but that's not why you're having the problem you're having. So the root of all that is what needs to be solved. And again, that's the work that I do with my clients in my exclusive coaching and mentoring program, the Inner Self Diet. But if you do have the inner self to be able to say to a person, thanks for sharing, and just keep walking and have it roll off your back like water off of a duck's back. Have you ever seen that before? It's actually true. We had ducks when I was growing up, when I was a kid, and the water, it actually literally does run off their back because of the oils that they have in their feathers. The oil comes out of it's almost like a little fountain they have on the top of their at the base of their spine on their back, right above their tail. This is why you came to this podcast today, right? To learn about how a duck's feathers become oily and slick so the water can roll right off of their back. But the saying, like water off a duck's back, there's a reason for that, because water really does roll off their back. So if you were able to say to a person who says to you, you're fat, and you're able to just say, thanks for sharing, and have that roll off of you, imagine how you would feel. Now, more than likely, one of the reasons that you would be able to say that is because you are already on your path. You're already taking action. You're already moving towards your ideal body. So the reason that you'd be able to say thanks for sharing is because you have 100% confidence and belief and certainty and knowing. Knowing actually goes beyond belief. Knowing is when you know in your bones that you shall have the body of your dreams. It might not be there on your butt and your thighs and your stomach at this moment, but you are taking actions every day, every moment. You are moving towards your ideal body. And so that would be one reason why you'd be able to say thanks for sharing, because the body that you're walking in when someone calls you fat is temporary. Okay? Now, how would you be in that situation, though, where you are so confident and sure and all knowing that your ideal body is coming? Well, again, we're back to the inner self. You need to have a weight loss mindset. That is 90% of the challenge. The actual eating plan, the actual healthy lifestyle plan, that's the easy part, just like I said at the beginning of today's show. I mean, you can go to the public library, and there's all kinds of resources out there. And if you want to hire a nutritionist and you want to hire a personal trainer, great. But what makes all of that easy to do it is your mindset, your inner self. That's where 90% of the weight game is on the inside. Okay, so that's one thing you could say when someone calls you fat. Number two, something else you can say when someone calls you fat. So you're walking down the street, they say, hey, you're fat. Thanks, yeah, and I can change that. And I can change that. Now, You might feel like adding on the end of that, and you can't change your, maybe you'd want to call them rude or something, but it's really not going to help you to engage in that. Remember that whenever anyone says something to you, it's always about them. It's always about them. It has nothing to do with you. So for a person to even, a total stranger, or this could be someone you know. This could be a loved one. This could be your husband calling you fat. Even in that case, though, it's still about him. It's not about you. He might, and it doesn't mean that he's fat, but there's something going on with there's something going on with that person for them to say something to you that is not all that nice. Okay, it's never about you. Nothing is ever about you, except everything is about you. Does that sound confusing? Everything starts with you. Everything is about you. You are the creator of everything in your life. And so even when a person were to come to you and call you fat, that is about you because you attracted that. But the actions and the behaviors of the other person, those are about them. And that would be in that person even if you had not attracted them. But because you attracted that situation and you attracted that person to you, now it's about you. So there's a lot more that goes into that, and it might not be clear to you if you're not familiar with universal laws and how things work in this universe, and the fact that you really are the creator of everything in your life. I get in depth with those topics with my exclusive coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. And I may be releasing some products in the future to break down some of those, like what I'm talking about right now, to help people better understand. But in this short podcast, this is just to give you some insights and for me to give you some thoughts. And obviously, you're not going to solve the root of your ongoing lifelong food and weight struggles in a short little podcast, and you wouldn't expect that anyway. You know that it requires two-way communication and working with a highly skilled coach and mentor to do that. So, all right, so the number 2 thing that you can say when someone calls you fat, and thanks, I can change that, because you can. You can change that. Now, again, we're still, though, in the same position with the other suggestion of just saying, thanks for sharing. The only way that you can say to a person, and I can change that, and be able to say that in a positive tone and really feel good about yourself and feel good about what you're saying, is if you really feel good about yourself and you feel good about what you're saying. Otherwise, it'll just be words, and you might as well be saying, well, thanks for that. I hope you have a crappy day too. You might as well be saying those words if that's how you feel. That is the message that will come across even when you say, and I can change that. So we're still back to the inner self. Everything starts there. Number 3 thing that you can say when someone calls you fat. You could say, really? Please tell me more. You could say that. Really? Please tell me more. Give me specifics. If you were to say that, and if you could say that, and feel awesome about it and genuinely be curious. Because what you would be doing there is you would be attempting to learn more about this person with the understanding that for them to have said that to you, you know that this comment is about them. But then also you know that you attracted it. And so you're in a dance with this other person, even if they're a stranger. Really? Please tell me more. I'm interested to hear. I'm just curious. What exactly does that mean? And you know what's interesting? If you were to ask that question, if you were to say that when someone were to call you fat, you might learn something that is completely completely different than what you thought that person was saying. Because they could be saying that you're fat, and who knows, like let's say that it's a man who says that to you. Who knows if what's really going on with him is he actually is attracted to you, but has no social skills, and he just blurts out, "Ah, you're fat." I mean, it sounds really silly, doesn't it? But you cannot understand, and you have no idea how another person is seeing the world because you're not them. Now again, the only way that you could say this, really, please tell me more. I'm very curious. Please tell me specifics. What exactly do you mean by that? You could only say that if you were genuine and you really felt good about yourself. You were fully in your power. You were grounded. You were centered. You were feeling very secure about yourself and your place in this universe, and you felt really, really good in your body. Which would mean that if you're not happy with the excess physical fat on your body, it would again mean that you were completely 100% on your path. You were already living the healthy lifestyle that you expect you would be living if you were already that fit, slender, healthy woman or man that you want to be. So that's how that would work. But these are 3 suggestions, 3 things that you can say, that you could say if someone were to call you fat. Now, if you're not in alignment with yourself, if you don't feel good about yourself, if you are not fully in your power, if you're not grounded, if you don't feel secure, if you don't feel 100% confident, if you're not on your path, if you're not every moment moving towards your ideal body instead of moving away from it, if you're not any of those things, then you know, if someone were to call you fat, who knows what you would say. I don't know who you are. I have no idea who you are. For all I know, you could be an alien listening to this podcast, and you somehow picked it up out in the universe, and it's awesome that you understand the English language, because I don't know any alien speak. But that's how much I know who you are. I don't know who you are unless I work with you as one of my awesome coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. But if you're, if you're not anything that I just described, as far as being grounded and secure and feeling awesome about yourself and about your body, then maybe your reaction would be when someone calls you fat is to, flip them off or say F you or hey, you're ugly or whatever. But if you were to say things like that, that would be because of how you feel about yourself. And maybe you've done that before. The good news is that it doesn't matter how far off track you have gotten with yourself and with your body and with however you're eating, whatever your lifestyle is. If you want to be on track for you, which means that obviously you have a desire to live in your ideal body, you know that there's no magic. You know that it requires living a healthy lifestyle consistently. Diets don't work. It can't be a short-term fast fat loss quickie cure or any of those silly diet pills, those kinds of things. I mean, those things are just silliness. There's no magic. Healthy lifestyle equals healthy body. Are you going to drop 25 pounds of fat from your body overnight? No, you are not. And now, unless you weigh 500 pounds at this moment, you could drop 25 pounds in a few days, but it wouldn't necessarily be fat, it'd be water. So, again, there's always hope. There's always a way, but you have to actually take action. It's not enough to sit and listen to me on the JoLynn Braley Show. It's not enough to think about things or think about someday maybe I'll get my act together. Here we are. It's April 11th. Did you make a New Year's resolution to lose weight? Did you know that 95% of people who make New Year's resolutions to lose weight, it's already out the window by the latest of January 15th, if not before. A lot of people, they slip up on it and they throw their resolution away on January 2nd because it's too hard. You can't force yourself to do something on the outside that you are not a match to on the inside. You must become that fit, slender, healthy woman or man on the inside before you can ever expect to be able to easily live a healthy lifestyle on the outside. It's your inner self, it's your mindset, it's the 90% of the game on the inside that makes it easy to live the healthy lifestyle on the outside. If you don't have the match on the inside to the lifestyle you want on the outside, it is like hell trying to lose weight and keep it off because you don't match. When you're fat, when you're FAT, that's a mindset grounded in fear-attracting thoughts. When that's what you are on the inside, then you have a fat body on the outside. It doesn't mean you're bad or wrong or a horrible person. It's just what it is. That's your inner programming. Fat on the inside, FAT, fear-attracting thoughts, mindset, base. Fat on the outside, body, excess fat on the body on the outside. When you have a weight loss mindset on the inside, when you have the inner self that is already programmed for success, it's the inner self is fit, slender, and healthy, then on the outside it has to match. You have to become fit, slender, and healthy on the outside. The inner and the outer always match. It is one of the universal laws we live under. This is the result, that inner and outer match. That is one of the results of the Inner Self Diet, which again, that is my exclusive coaching and mentoring program that I do with my awesome clients. If you want to read testimonials from folks who have done it and they have achieved struggle-free permanent weight loss, you can do that at fearlessfatloss.com, and that is also where you can apply for a complimentary weight loss discovery session. Okay, let's take a quick commercial break, and today's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is StopHidingBehindTheFat.com. StopHidingBehindTheFat.com is a website that I own, and that is one of my brands, and you can go there and read some free articles that I've written over the years, and you can also grab my free 5-day e-course, which will help you answer the question, is your mindset fit or FAT? And you'll see that sign up form right there at StopHidingBehindTheFat.com. Okay, how can you get a shout out from me on the JoLynn Braley Show? And what is a shout out? A shout out is simply me saying hello, hi, thank you for being a part of the show, and I just used your first name. And the way to get a shout out is by liking our Facebook page. You can find our Facebook page at the JoLynn Braley Show.com. And the way you spell my name, you can see that in iTunes. If you're listening on iTunes, if you're listening in another portal, you should be able to see the picture, the image of my show, and you'll see how my name is spelled. Otherwise, it's spelled JoLynn, Braley, B as in boy, R-A-L-E-Y. The JoLynn Braley Show.com. Click like to like our Facebook page. I'll give you a shout out on an upcoming show. And this week's shout out goes out to Robert. Thank you so much, Robert, for liking our Facebook page. And I just appreciate everybody who listens, and I'm happy to have you guys here. So let's take a look at what you learned today. You learned a lot of things today, and before we do that, questions. Let me give you those questions. On every episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, I give you some questions that you can ask yourself. I'll make these really quick because I'm looking at the time now. And these questions are designed to help you to get real, to get honest, to look at yourself. Actually, on Get Real episodes, that's when I really give you some awesome questions to ask yourself. But on the regular episodes, they're not necessarily as hard-hitting. So some questions you can ask yourself. I highly recommend that you write these down, pen on paper, write the question down, and then write your answer down. If you only listen to me, well, that's nice, but you won't get anything nearly any clarity or ahas out of this podcast as you would if you were to write the question down on paper with pen and then write your answer down. So the first question, how did I feel when I was called fat? You've probably had at least one time in your life when someone called you fat. Maybe when you were a kid, who knows? But how did I feel when I was called fat? And then write down your answer. If you need to pause this, you can do this. Of course, pause the podcast and then complete that. The second question, what was the gift that I can see today in that person calling me fat? What was the gift that I can see today in that person calling me fat? Because today, from this standpoint, especially after listening to this podcast, maybe when that person called you fat, even though it felt really bad, it helped you wake up. It helped you really look at yourself and ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Is this how I want to live? Things like that. So how was that helpful to you when that person did that? And the third question, what exactly am I doing right now? What's my game plan so that I do feel 100% sure, 100% confident, 100% knowing that I am going to live in my ideal body, which means that right now you're living a healthy lifestyle and you're doing it without struggle, which means that you are a match on the inside. You're already slender, healthy, fit on the inside. You've done all that inner work. You've done the specific steps. You have the inner self tools that you need to maintain your weight loss mindset. But if you haven't done any of those things, which you very well might not have done any of those things, which would make more sense because that's why you're listening to this podcast. If you already were living struggle-free with food and your weight, then you wouldn't spend time listening to this. So what is my game plan? What is my specific game plan? If you haven't done any of that, you've never gotten a weight loss mindset, you're FAT on the inside and you've got the fat on the outside to show for it, what exactly is your game plan? And write that down. You need to have a specific game plan. The game plan for getting a weight loss mindset and becoming fit, slender, and healthy on the inside, that needs to be a bigger game plan than the one for your eating and exercise. So if you had a piece of paper, 90% of it needs to be about how are you becoming fit, healthy, and slender on the inside. What are your specific steps? What are the specific daily action steps you're taking? What are the specific tools you're using? How are you becoming this on the inside? Because that's what makes the little bitty 10% on your paper, eating healthy, exercising regularly, that's what makes that really easy. If you don't have a game plan for this, then if you are serious about ending all of your food and weight struggles now, if you really are serious about it, you're not one of these people who just wants to talk about how bad things are, and you're not one of these people who wants to just gather information and then say, oh, well, I'll think about it, maybe someday when my prince comes, then I'll change. You're not anything like that. You're a real go-getter. You are serious. You know that you deserve to have not just the body of your dreams, but the life of your dreams. You know that you deserve better. You know that if you could if you really honestly could, end your battles, your internal self-sabotage, your food obsessions, your binge eating, your emotional eating, your food obsessions, your sugar addictions, anything and everything that is keeping you overweight and overeating. If you know that if you really could end these struggles, that all other areas of your life would open up. Your relationships, your sex life, your finances, your career, your business, your work, your vacations, your everything, your spiritual connection, every area of your life would open up. And you know this because you can see how negative of an impact your thoughts and your feelings about yourself and your body and your weight and how you deal with food, you can see that you carry those with you everywhere. You can't just turn it off because you take your body with you everywhere and you take your mind with you everywhere. And everywhere you go, this constant worry you have about what other people think of you and how you're being viewed, and the fact that you can't stop eating, all of this baggage goes with you everywhere you go. So if you really are serious about releasing all of that and releasing the fat from your body and being able to release the fat from your body without it being a big, huge struggle, then your first step is to apply for a complimentary weight loss discovery session, and you can do that at fearlessfat.com/call, C-A-L-L. All right, so let's quickly go over what you learned today. What you learned today, you learned that your inner game is where your inside, your inner self, that's where the weight loss battle, the weight loss game is won. If you never win it on the inside first, then you're never going to win it on the outside, because 90% of your problems are on the inside of you. The fat, the extra fat that you have on your body, that is only a symptom of what you've got going on the inside. You also learned that you learned 3 things that you can say when someone calls you fat. And you learn that it's not just about the words that you say. You do need to have a certain inner self match who can say the words that I gave you and be able to say them genuinely. Because if you don't have the grounding and the confidence and the inner security and the knowing, if you don't have all of those things I already talked about, when you say the words then of thanks for sharing, when somebody calls you fat, you might as well be saying, I hate you, or get away from me. I mean, you could be saying all kinds of negative things, because it's not about the words, it's about you. It's about you, it's about your vibration, it's about your inner self. This is why there have been people throughout history. Cleopatra is one I'm thinking of right now. Cleopatra is one who I'm thinking of right now. She was supposedly not actually a beautiful woman, but because of her inner self, she had all of this power and men fawned over her. It's about what you've got on the inside is 90% of where the challenge lies right now. You learned that it is your mindset that makes it easy, or it makes it really hard, to live a healthy and fit lifestyle. Also, you learned today that honestly, there is no magic. There's no pill, there's no potion, there's no silly little sprinkle, there is nothing. There is no magic out there. Not even weight loss surgery can give you the answer or the solution to your food and weight struggles. It is a mindset issue, and in order to have the body you want, you need to live a healthy lifestyle. That's it. All right? The magic, if you really want magic, the magic is in your mindset. It's in your inner self. And that requires taking action. You have to actually do something very different in order to get very different results. I'm sure you've heard of Einstein's definition of insanity, which is continuing to do the same things over and over and over again while expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. Now, how often exactly, or how many years exactly have you been insane when it comes to this topic of food and your weight? You keep doing the same things over and over again. You keep looking for food diets. You're probably even thinking about finding some food diet right now while you're listening to this podcast. And the worst thought of all and the worst pattern of all is to be telling yourself, oh, well, this is great. And I really agree with JoLynn, and especially, she is a weight loss mindset expert. She's a certified master NLP practitioner, certified professional coach. She's helped all of these other people, these awesome people. I've read all about their results on fearlessfatloss.com. I even listened to their audios. There's about 7 or 8 audio testimonials over at fearlessfatloss.com. And obviously she knows what she's doing, and she's really helped these people because that's what they say and that's what they talk about. And why would they talk about that if it wasn't true? Because that would be silly. But I'm just going to do another diet and lose weight first, and then I will address my mindset problems. Well, if that's what you're doing, I can tell you the result that you're going to get from that. Because I did that to myself over 20 years ago, and the result I got was just more frustration and more struggle because I was not able to drop that fat from my body and keep it off. Nothing worked until I did the inner self work. So you can save yourself 5, 10, 20 years of your life by ending that pattern and telling yourself, hey, actually it takes a decision. You have to really make a decision. And the way that you make that decision is by looking at the results you've been getting and deciding that you deserve better. When you stop that pattern of looking for these diet fixes and these magical pills and these magical solutions and tell yourself, hey, all right, I need to get to the bottom of this. I need to heal the root of this ongoing food and weight struggle. And if you have a way to do that that is not the inner self diet, great. If it is proven, if it works, and it will give you the results of permanent weight loss, then take action with it right now. Why would you hold yourself back? What would be the purpose of doing that to yourself? Do be sure and go to thejolynnbraleyshow.com, click like to like our Facebook page. You'll get a shout out from me with your first name only on an upcoming show. If you're subscribed in iTunes, go ahead and give the show a 5-star rating. The purpose of this show is to help you get a paradigm shift. Obviously, we're not here to solve your ongoing lifelong food and weight struggles. Those have been going on for 20, 30, 40 or more years. A short little podcast is not going to do that. You need to have two-way real-time communication to get to the bottom of those struggles if you want to release all of them quickly and be done with all of them. Also, while you're giving us a 5-star rating, give us a 5-star review. Share what your biggest aha is from the show. Tell us how your awareness has shifted away from diet mentality and thinking that a food diet would solve all of your binge eating, your emotional eating, your food obsessions, your compulsive overeating, and how you have come to understand that the truth is that your struggles really are 90% mindset. So share your personal biggest aha in your 5-star review. We would love to read that. Next week's episode, 3 ways to make bikini season weight loss easier. This is JoLynn Braley, weight loss mindset expert, the FAT release coach, and you've been listening to the JoLynn Braley Show. Go to fearlessfatloss.com to learn more. You can grab your free 5-day e-course while you're there. It will help you answer the question, is your mindset FIT or FAT? And it will help you discover what's really been stopping you from losing weight for good and what you can do about it. If you are serious about ending all of your ongoing, lifelong food and weight struggles now and doing it in the least amount of time possible, then what you'd want to do is immediately fill out an application for a complimentary weight loss discovery session, and you would also do that at fearlessfatloss.com. On the end of that, just put /call, CALL. Here's to your best life in your ideal body.